Hey everyone, my name is Rooster and welcome back to Mechabellum. I've been away for quite some time on YouTube, which I'm very sorry for, but I hope that I can make it up today with a banger of a game. Recently, I have been facing quite a bit of the, so to say, 201 flank strategy, where they put an overlord on your flank on, say, something like round 2 or 3, and then they add a Vulcan on top of it. And even though the strategy I don't think is that strong, it can definitely catch you off guard, and if you make some mistakes, it can quickly snowball out of control, which is, well, can be quite an annoyance to play against, especially when stuff like redeployment comes in, or they have jump drive on their boats, and you have to keep trying to defend every single side of your board, it seems. And so in this game, I was trying to level the towers, which recently, with a patch update, now also reduce the amount of time that you get debuffed when your opponent does take the tower. And so I was trying to make use of this mechanic to see if it would work. And, well, let's just say that the results were entertaining. So let's get into that game right now, and I'll see you there. All right, so here we are. Now let's have a look at the packs. Right away, I think Giant Spec Steel Ball Fang jumps out. I really do think this is quite a strong pack, especially defensively. I think it's powerful, and it just gives you so much flexibility with regards to being able to buy some giants. If you bought the wrong one, it doesn't really matter that much because you can just sell it and unlock another one. Sure, you do lose a deployment for it, but the versatility of this specialist is certainly very beneficial, I believe. My opponent is Illuminati, who starts with Aerial Specialist and Fang Stormcaller, also a very powerful pack right now. And Aerial Spec is strong too, especially with the donuts being very meta after the last buff that they received. So let's see how this game goes. I am expecting some sort of aerial shenanigans, but I know that Illuminati usually plays standard. The only thing that I know that he plays is the 201 flank, which we will see this game. So I position my units aggressively. I've been kind of experimenting with this sort of setup. So I have some fangs, some crawlers. Immediately I have a good amount of chaff, same as my opponent, by the way, who also picked up some crawlers. And I put one steel ball on the line with some crawlers to the left, slightly behind them. The idea there is that if he does buy something like arc lights, they lock onto the steel balls, and the arc lights kind of get to go in and not die to the arc lights immediately. And also this can often bait out some missiles from the opponent, which puts them behind economically. And yeah, I have liked this setup. So right now I think my matchup is pretty good for me. I do have those crawlers. Ideally I'd have 3 crawlers, but alas, I had the fangs instead, I believe. And but yeah, very powerful here. They're able to easily deal with the fangs, and also powerful against the Stormcallers, who will be missing them quite a bit trying to hit them. Okay, so I do actually get some crawlers to go in under the gun line. I should win this. Let's speed things up, but I think I will lose most of my fangs in this situation. I do. So even though I do win the round, it's very close and no big damage there. Enhancement module shows up, immediately picked up by Illuminati. I should also pick it up. I am Giant Spec. It is such a powerful item, especially with this, because obviously giants are the most expensive to upgrade. So being able to do that for free can give you a very, very big economic advantage. And I probably do want to sell out of my steel balls, so if they do level at one point, which right now doesn't seem too likely, but if they were to, I could easily level them, sell them, and at least get something back for being willing to sell them. Now my opponent immediately sells his Stormcallers on the left there, and buys himself an Overlord, which goes onto my flank on the right side where I have no units. So yeah, so it begins. I did pick up the enhancement module myself, by the way. So it begins. I did go for Mustangs because I was expecting him to go for some sort of aerial unit, knowing that he is aerial spec, and looking at my board, I was pretty weak to it. So I did buy the one Mustang pack there. My tower unfortunately goes down, but I was able to clear most of the stuff here. And when I say most of the stuff, it's only chaff, but still. And that should allow me to get to the tower, and hopefully that allows me to get in and at least clean these guys up. If the Stormcallers are dead, I think I have a good chance of still beating the Overlord. All of my Mustangs, or most of them, are still alive. And let's see how this goes. They do fire. Ooh, and I lose. Ooh, I do lose about half the pack there. Only 5 Mustangs alive. With some fangs, though, I think we will be in an okay spot. I get the other tower. And now all that remains is cleaning up that boat. And looks like we will be able to. The fangs now join in. And that is good for me. The annoying bit with these types of flanks is if the Overlord just kills everything on your board and gets the level, especially with that enhancement module. Luckily for me, that didn't happen, and I actually got the level there on my own steel ball, meaning that I can sell that and make a profit. Right now, I might not do it because I don't really have anything to transition this onto, and level 2 steel balls are still a menace to deal with for now. Deciding to buy some more Mustangs. I'm actually leveling the tower already, so I'm saying, look, I don't really care about your flank. I know that you will be buying probably a Vulcan, which he does. I'm not interested in trying to fight this. I'm just going to level this tower twice. It has 60,000 hit points almost. If you take it, it will only debuff me for now 5 seconds. Good luck with that. And yeah. Even a bigger investment here for my opponent goes for the crawlers. The idea here is that these will distract whatever I would put in front of his flank. But I'm not interested. I'm just leveling that tower. My opponent, by the way, also leveled his left tower, so we could get a very weird situation here where his tower is being leveled to level 5 and mine is, and weird engagements happening, but let's see. I am happy I have the steel balls because at least they will easily take down those big towers. And here the level 2 steel balls should actually be quite good against that Vulcan. Still, I don't have the most anti-air left alive, but I think I'm in an okay spot. Yeah, full pack of steel balls now advancing towards that Vulcan. Oh, and the Mustangs. Okay, the Mustangs seem to be out of harm's way. The boat is very good against the steel balls, so luckily I have enough. And looks like Vulcan does go down. And now it's up to my air units to clear everything. Overlord did level, though. That's the downside, I guess, of keeping those leveled steel balls around. They do feed a lot of EXP. And, yeah. Well, there it is. A leveled giant. Can finally make use of that enhancement module. Could even, his Stormcaller's also leveled, so could even level the Storms here, sell them, and then level his Overlord for free. Gets the Amp Core. I wonder where that's going to go. Okay, so here we go. Does level the Stormcallers, sells them, so that's 100 profit. Pays back essentially what it cost him to get the enhancement module. And now leveling his Overlord, so now he's already 200 profit up. And, well, unfortunately, I have only just paid back my item. I haven't made any money, I haven't lost any either right now with the enhancement module. Deciding to pick up the improved firepower control system here, as I'm foreseeing that more air units might arrive and having the range, and that item should allow me to deal with Overlords quite efficiently. And I actually put my own Overlord here on the side. I was hoping to get a level on this. And also get like a decent debuff, but let's see how it works. My opponent puts even another Overlord here on the side with some Wasps in front. So now I think that this is probably a mistake. The thing about leveling towers is that it is very good against this sort of strategy. And the more he invests into it, the more I actually get out of that huge investment that I need to pay to level this, right? This is money that is not going anywhere else. It's just in that tower. So I think what he should have done here is started like moving his units to maybe the other side, or try and defend the push here. Instead, he levels his right tower and levels his left tower now also to level 3. I didn't quite have the money to level this again, so it is still level 3 and will go down fast to that level 2 Overlord. But again, only 5-second debuff. It's not the worst. The only difference now is that my tower here hasn't been upgraded, and he does have a bunch of wasps and crawlers going that way. My Overlord is slowly arriving, but you can see that because we're so far away from one another, those debuffs don't even matter anymore. So it's just a matter of who gets the tower the fastest, I guess, and can get towards the other, or like how good the engagement is. But weird one. My Overlord unfortunately doesn't get a hit onto that level 2 Overlord, otherwise it probably would have leveled. Instead it's the Mustangs who got it. They do both level, which is very nice. And my Overlord here kills the Vulcan. I'm a bit sad that it didn't level. I was hoping to get some good value out of that enhancement module, but alas. Illuminati goes for Giant Hunter, very strong, because obviously I am Giant Specialist myself, and I did pick up Senior Manufacturing, so yeah, probably would have been the right pickup for me as well. Instead I go for Subsidized Mustang, because I think that in this situation, I can go carry Mustang and try to defend this. Let's see what I do with this Overlord. Opponent, by the way, did have Mothership on his Overlords, and is now buying Vulcans with Incendiary, which I predict will give me some trouble. And here, so now I'm trying to finally answer this side of the board by using my tower as a tank. So the idea here was to have some units that stay behind the tower and can start DPSing, so that these units like don't just kill the tower and don't lose any hit points and can then join the rest of the fight. Obviously you can see the Incendiary here was a very, very smart pickup. My Overlord unfortunately there died, and even though it did kill the enemy Overlord, it didn't get the XP for it. So again, I'm a bit sad on that side. This doesn't look good for me at all right now. Left side was successful against that Vulcan, but I lost so many of my Mustangs that it doesn't look like I'll be able to turn. Yeah, and there they go. I mean, maybe I'm able to take out one Overlord. That would be very nice, saving me 400 hit points. Okay, nice. I'll take that, honestly. I will have to answer the Vulcan there. And immediately here I'm thinking, well, my opponent is very heavily invested into Overlords. And Overlord attacks, for those of you who don't know, count as missiles. So anti-missile devices, or even better, anti-missile upgrades, such as on the War Factory, do intercept them. And they also intercept things like the Vulcan incendiary missiles. So here I'm starting to think, well, look, I'm not going to be able to really protect my Stangs, and I really do need to, because I'm relying on them to DPS and to deal with all those air units. I might as well just get myself a War Factory with anti-missile. And there it is. There it is. I do go efficient maintenance first, and then I also pick up missile interceptor, because I'm expecting this this game to go a bit longer, and I don't want to be losing 150 every single round. I also was able to afford it, so yeah, this was looking good. The War Factory should be good against the Vulcan too, so help out with that sort of DPS, and then I'm relying on the Mustangs to clear the chaff and also deal with those Overlords, who now have got Chin Gun. Chin Gun cannot be intercepted, so that pickup should be valuable for Illuminati here and allow him to still damage my War Factory, even if it's intercepting all of the Overlord rockets. Still using his enhancement module here. I haven't made use of it still ever since that first round where my steel balls leveled. I could have sold it and put it on the other steel balls, but I felt like I needed the steel balls here to try and at least deal with that Vulcan. tower does go down, unfortunately, but you can see that all of the missiles are getting intercepted right here, so almost no fire is landing. And the Overlord only can rely on his chin gun there. So we do finally take it out, and the tower debuff comes at a perfect timing where it might allow my Overlord here. Oh, not quite. Not quite. The level tower not giving a very long debuff, and again a big round here where I take 1200 plus damage. Not too happy about it, but I'm confident in my response. I just need to get a few more of these, and we should be good. Now I go for the nuke on the right side. My opponent goes for the EMP blast, which is potentially a bit scary. I don't know if I'll be answering this. A shield would go a long way, that is for sure. I buy myself another War Factory right on the line there because I want to make sure that it intercepts all the missiles so that these Mustangs can remain alive if possible. And the nuke is just because I haven't really answered this side, and the nuke should be able to just deal with everything that is there, hopefully. I was able to, by the way, finally get some value out of the enhancement module. So I sold the steel balls. I think last round I should have probably transitioned it over here and level these steel balls so that I could have made an additional 100 this round. But instead I'm moving on to the Overlord. Finally getting some good money out of that. Yeah, the EMP there is not great. Let's be honest. The EMP there is not great. Luckily for me, Illuminati actually sold his Overlord, so now there's nothing to kill my War Factory. And even though it is EMP'd, my Mustangs cleared all of the air units, and it looks like I'm just in a good position. Overlord didn't have any techs, so really that is quite an expensive round. Obviously I did take the nuke, but I feel like I got way more value out of the nuke than he did out of that EMP. And my War Factory is able to win out against his War Factory. And a big round now in my favor, setting my opponent down to just below 1300 hit points. Underground Threat is picked up for Illuminati, and I go for the barrier. Again, this is the versatility of Giant Spec. I would have lost 400 by now, unlocking the Overlord and the War Factory, if I wasn't this specialist, having this bonus to unlock giants for free. And I make good use of it here again, noticing that my opponent is investing very heavily into a bunch of giants too. So I say to myself, well, I have the money, it doesn't really cost me anything. I also do have senior manufacturing, so let's make use of those cards and buy ourselves some melters with EMP. The reason I go EMP is to try and disable that War Factory of his, which is producing Phoenixes, and also try and hit potentially like shields if he puts it down, disable those Vulcans who are now triple teched. Went for range and ignite. Ignite's kind of scary because it'll melt that factory regardless of its hit points. In fact, it's better the bigger the target. So this might potentially be bad for me. Let's see how it turns out. My tower, by the way, has now been leveled to level 5, which is the highest possible. Gives it 235,000 hit points. And even if they do take it, it only paralyzes my units for 1 second. Yep, 1 second. Not really worthwhile to take anymore, but obviously I spent 900 credits upgrading this, which are credits that are not invested into my board. And that probably means that I should be using this a bit better, right? The annoying bit here is that I was hoping that my War Factory would stay behind the tower, but right now the Vulcan is right in front of it, and so it locks on to the War Factory instead, which means that it goes down. Luckily for me, my melters here are doing decently well. Looks like my War Factory there died too, but again, I do have the melters. The EMP is hitting relatively well, and I'm at least able to take down one more Vulcan. Can we take down another Overlord? Oh, not quite. Okay, so here, scary round again. 4 giants surviving 1600 damage taken, sending me down to 758 hit points. Photon coating shows up. This is quite a nice one, but I decide not to go for it. Instead, I go for ranged specialist. So photon coating, what it also does is disable things like ignite from working. So it actually could have been a nice pickup, but instead I go for the range, hoping that that'll allow me to stay a bit further back from these Vulcans and DPS from a distance. My opponent didn't go for it actually, and went for the Vulcan's Descent instead, trying to get that tower of mine. I get the mobile beacon because I saw that last round this Vulcan locked on instantly. So instead what I'm trying to do is now mobile beacon the War Factory this way and to that tower, because this tower again is level 5 and Vulcan Ignite does not work on structures, so he'll be stuck on this tower for the entirety of the round basically. And considering that it's a big unit with a valuable item as well, I think that is a good use of this investment that I've decided to make from the very start, right? Now the problem I might have here though is that I wasn't really prepared to, I wasn't really expecting the Vulcan's Descent, which is something that if you watch my streams, I do quite a lot. I tend to just ignore the fact that there were actives and my other tower is vulnerable. So yeah, looks like we will get a debuff here, which isn't ideal because this one hasn't been leveled. So if it goes down, it does disable me for the full 9 seconds there. And yep, there it goes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Luckily my melter has locked on. And I still am killing some stuff during the debuff. EMP is hitting well. I'm surprised my opponent didn't go for Missile Interceptor. I think that probably would have won them the game. Instead they went for Steel Ball production there, but nothing to intercept those EMP missiles. And with that active, it probably would have gone in their favor. But luckily for me, I still have those War Factories here on the right side. And they are able to kill that Vulcan. As you see, it is still locked onto the tower. Only managed to get it to half of its hit points. And that should be GG. Very nice game. Going for 9 rounds. I was quite happy with the result, obviously. And it was certainly a fun one to play. This was the first game where I actually leveled a tower to level 5. Trying to counter that 201 strategy that I've been facing, and had some mixed results with defending. So I was trying, you know what, let's just make my life a little bit easier and try to defend the left side, which granted I didn't really do because the Vulcan did come down and disable me there last turn. And I think if my opponent got Missile Interceptor, the EMP wouldn't have hit, and it probably would have been a very bad time for me. But hey, you live and you learn. I think there is some cool things to take away from this game. Leveling towers certainly has become more appealing ever since they made that change. So I would recommend you try it out. And yeah, let me know how it goes for you. Have you played with this already? What do you think of it? Let me know down in the comments below. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with all my latest videos. I will try and make more. I know that I haven't been posting so much lately, but I will try. And yeah, go check me out on Twitch if you want to see me play live. With that being said, I thank you very much for watching this video. And I wish you all a very good day. Bye-bye, guys.